Welcome to Buzzed and Baffled, the podcast where the wine flows, the stories twist, and the truth is always stranger than fiction. We laugh, we sip, and we dive into tales that leave us buzzing with questions and baffled by reality.
But before we uncork the weirdness, a quick disclaimer. We're not experts, just curious storytellers with glasses in hand. All content within this podcast is our humble opinion. Some content may be dark, disturbing, or downright inappropriate, so listener discretion is advised. And remember, nothing pairs better with a wild story than a good pour, so let's get buzzed and baffled.
We're back
I guess we're back.
for episode 21.
21. And this is a live, synchronized time episode.
So you're going to be getting this the same weekend we record it. And we apologize in advance.
I don't apologize.
For what's about to happen. I had to pull it in because I was echoey. We went to Brewfest before this.
Yeah, we did.
And there was a wine tent at Brewfest. So that's what Nicole hit the most.
Yeah, there was also Cutwater and everything else. And
Shout out Allie, Cutwater.
yeah, Ellie and her 29 Cutwaters that she drank. There was also, at the end, people just like giving away tokens left and right. So, I mean, some of us, I don't want to waste, so.
The peanut butter beer was my favorite of the beer, because I'm not a huge beer fan.
I was surprised with the amount of beer you actually drank. I thought you were going to be like one and going back to the wine tent.
Because for the people who don't know, I cannot burp.
She's a freak of nature.
I lack the ability to burp, and so it's very hard when I drink carbonated beverages.
And apparently it's like a real thing, so I can't even make fun of her because that'd be like, it's medical.
No, it's like part of how my throat is like built.
I told her to get Botox in it, which is actually a legitimate
I think that's actually the treatment
it is.
they do.
And she hasn't. I'm like, well, you get Botox everywhere else, so what's the difference?
My eyebrows don't move, but my uvula still does.
I'm really glad you used the correct term and did not say what you could have said.
That could have gone real sideways. So it's a good thing I'm like 3 sheets to the wind already. Because tonight, I am talking about, it's not murder, guys. Like normally, I'm like, everything's terrible and everybody died. Tonight, I'm talking about Watergate.
Watergate. And since you're talking about Watergate, I am going to have to read the wine description.
I was so proud of myself when I found this.
Yeah, she wouldn't let me look at the label. Okay.
You gotta look at the very bottom. That's the name.
So, the name of this is Squealing Pig Sauvignon Blanc. It's a Marlborough from New Zealand. The front of the label has this little pig went to market. Market is crossed off, and it says Marlborough, and so on and so forth, which is actually pretty funny.
I didn't take a picture of it for the website. You gotta do that.
And the back says, hidden vineyards in tucked away places. That's crossed out. Hidden vineyards in Marlborough give us the grapes for our really sensationals crossed out. Gave us the grapes for our fresh and aromatic Sauvignon Blanc with tropical fruit flavor, notes of passion fruit, pineapple, and citrus. This is really hard to read because the C's look exactly like O's, and I was very confused. I want
everyone to know she looks like she might need reading glasses.
I don't need reading glasses. I'm not old like you.
I gotta take a picture of... No, I gotta take a picture of the bottle. I haven't done that yet.
She's behind. She's slacking on her social media duties. Don't get my cheese sticks in that picture because they are out.
Here we go. Gotta really rotate the bottle.
Yeah, it's gotta be a whole Instagram-worthy photo.
I take my social media duties very seriously.
Yeah, she's our social media manager, so I guess I can't say too much.
So you can crack it open because I've already put the peppers in the glass.
I only have 2 hands. You can take that. Okay. We're trying to be very ASMR. But we're not very good at that. Oops, I spilled a little bit. Okay. Okay. It smells good.
So let's see what... I already forgot the name of it. The squealing pig tastes like.
The squealing pig.
I mean, this is a story about Republicans, so I think that this is an appropriate one.
Could be. We're using our tumblers that my cousin Leslie had her friend make us, and we clinked them, but because they are vacuum sealed tumblers, they didn't really have quite the ting we were hoping for. It was more like a dull thunk, but
it's a little sweeter than I thought it would be.
Ooh, it's very good though. Mm-hmm. I like it a lot.
This was one of the ones, because when I did like the shop at Binny's and I was like going through and trying to find like things we've never had before, this was one of the ones I just randomly picked up.
Okay. And you picked it because the label got you, because it said this little pig over and over and over.
It was cute.
And it's in different colors.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's colorful.
It is. And I very much appreciate how the striations on the cap match the colors on the label. So
it was a pretty label, and that's what got me.
I mean, I also fall for that despite my best intentions. I'm a sucker for a good packaging.
Just like we're a sucker for Bodabox.
Oh, Bodabox. Sponsor us, Bodabox.
So we're going side-by-siding next weekend. And we've been trying to find like the little juice box Bodaboxes, and I haven't been able to find them.
Bodabox. I would like some veneers, so please sponsor us.
She's mad because I'm going to get veneers.
You're going to get bonding, which is different than veneers.
But I'm one step closer.
Just wait till I get my veneers. They're gonna be so
She's
white.
She's going to come out with like fucking Turkish teeth.
Yeah.
They're going to be like 3 inches long.
Yeah. I look like I have chiclets in my mouth. White chiclets.
And I'm like, oh, your teeth.
That's why you were gone for the weekend. You went to Turkey and got some really bad teeth.
I told you we should have gone to Tijuana.
You know, I feel like if Bodabox is sponsoring us, we could probably stay somewhere that has like OSHA and other.
I mean, if Bodabox is sponsoring us, we go to South Korea.
I think we probably have to go wherever Bodabox says we have to
go. I mean,
go.
it's also true. Like, we'll do whatever Bodabox says if they're sponsoring us.
Okay, but we digress about my veneers, so hit it.
So, I have entitled today's episode, Nixon on the Rocks.
Okay.
Today's story has themes similar to what we are seeing today, with questions about the ethics and legal actions taken by the president. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm coming in hot.
Yeah. We got nothing more. Like, we tiptoed around it for long enough.
Yeah, like, let's just do it.
We made 20 episodes, and now we're just like, yeah, fuck that. We're on 21. You're getting it.
So, time to test your knowledge of U.S. history, Kyla. Okay. Tell me what you know about Richard Milhous Nixon.
Richard Milhous Nixon was the 36th president. I made that up, but ish. Was he really the 36th president?
37th.
Oh, see, I was much closer than I thought I was going to be. Was he Eisenhower's vice president? Or something like that?
He was a VP for a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. I got 5 pages to get through.
He has a daughter named Pat, and he was not awesome.
Okay.
That's all I got.
So in order to know how someone got to where they are, we have
he was a Quaker.
He was.
Which, throwback to the universal public friend.
So in order to know how someone got to where they are, we have to understand where they have been. Richard Nixon was the 37th president of I don't want you to know. I wrote the University States, but it's obviously the United States.
Yes.
I'm going to narc on myself here.
Yeah. I mean, and you absolutely did not have to do that because I never received his paper.
He was born in 1913 in California and was born a Quaker, so you're right.
I did know that, yeah. But a Quaker in California, that's a little unusual. That's more of a Pennsylvania East Coast deal.
So he was elected in 1969 and is the only president who's ever resigned, and he did this in 1974. Fun fact, he was the only president to have resigned from office. Mm-hmm. But prior to being the 37th president, Nixon attempted to join the FBI after graduating from Duke University School of Law, but was not allowed to due to budget cuts.
Okay.
He became a lawyer in California, where he specialized in commercial litigation.
Okay.
He later became partner of his own branch of a law firm and worked as president of the Citra Frost Company.
Citra Frost?
Citra Frost.
Okay, so this is like an orange growing company
I'm
or something.
assuming so.
Okay.
However, the company went bankrupt after 18 months.
So he was really good at
He was awesome.
being the president. More than once.
Yes. He's really been banging it out of the park. In 1942, Nixon and his family moved to Virginia, where he took a job at the Office of Price Administration in Washington, D.C., due to feeling that his prospects were limited at the firms he was working at as partner. Okay. So you're a partner in a law firm, and somehow you're like, this isn't good enough.
Mm-hmm. And, well, I mean, you had your own branch of law firm.
But, you're like, I want more. So he's always seeking something more.
And I don't know if you know this, and it's probably really not relevant. Is the Office of Price Administration the precursor of the Office of Management and Budget? Because we don't think we have an Office of Price Administration anymore.
It's not.
Okay.
So the Office of Price and Administration was established in 1941 in a response to World War II and sought to create price controls by placing ceilings on commodities.
So the government is capping free market trade.
Yes. So Nixon worked in the tire rationing division.
Tires on cars.
Tires on cars.
Okay. Side note, I'm just going to tell you this because it's one of the few facts that I know that I don't think anyone else does. Who is the largest producer of tires in the world?
Michelin?
Lego.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lego produces more tires than Michelin.
Where do they sell them to?
Lego kits.
Are you serious? Mm-hmm. So the tiny little kits.
Yeah, the little tires that they make for their rovers or
whatever. I guess the size quantity is very small.
Yeah, that's the trick is
yeah.
You're thinking of a car tire.
But yeah. So surprisingly, Nixon did not enjoy his work at the Price Administration, where his primary job was responding to letters. So after 4 months, he applied to the U.S. Navy. He was appointed as a lieutenant junior grade in the Naval Reserve. He worked his way up through the ranks within the Navy, and after World War II ended, he was elected to the House of Representatives from California, where he served as, surprise, surprise, a Republican from 1947 to 1950.
Okay.
And this is the Republican Party we know today. This isn't before they flippy-flopped.
Yeah, this wasn't like the Lincoln Republican.
No, this
Republicans
is
the Dixie Democrats.
This is the conservative Republican Party.
Yeah, this is the same tenets as today.
Yeah. So during his time in the House, he supported the Taft-Hartley Act and joined the House Committee on Un-American Activities.
That would have been headed by McCarthy.
It's the McCarthy area stuff. Yeah. Yep.
When he's like, "Oh, you don't." Sorry.
So, Kyla, what was the Taft-Hartley Act, and what was the House Committee on Non-American Activities?
That was headed by Senator, I believe his name is Joe McCarthy from Wisconsin. And his job, or what he thought was his job, was to find un-Americans or communists or Reds, as he wanted to call them, people who basically had an opinion other than the status quo, especially quote-unquote liberal Hollywood types, and they would be blackballed from basically working in government or really any private industry.
And so that was the McCarthy, but the Taft-Hartley Act was so much worse.
Oh yeah, I have no idea what that is.
A law created in 1947 restricted the power of labor unions, particularly restricting jurisdictional strikes, which is asserting that union workers have the rights to a particular job assignments, such as healthcare or construction. So if I'm a nurse, I'm only a nurse. I'm not put somewhere else.
Yeah, you're not a nurse and
a CNA.
Food service worker.
Yes. It also restricted wildcat strikes, which is a strike taken by workers but not sanctioned by the union. And solidary or political strikes, which is a general strike in which all economic activity ceases.
Okay.
So he was basically like, unions can't strike. Secondary boycotts and mass picketing. The Taft-Hartley Act also allowed right-to-work laws to ban union shops. And this is still in effect today. So thanks, Nixon. So the House Committee on Un-American Activities was created in 1938, and the focus was on looking for communist activities, which is basically McCarthyism, specifically alleged disloyalty and subversive activities. Hold on, I want to quote this because it was very specific. On part of private citizens, public employees, and organizations suspected of communist activity. So they were hunting people based on their political beliefs. McCarthyism also focused on espionage, which I want you to tuck behind your ear for later.
Holding on to
Hold to that. So from 1950 to 1953, Nixon served as a Republican in the U.S. Senate, where he continued to battle communism, because that was big back then. It's like where everyone was focusing on the red wave. From 1953 to 1961, he served as vice president for Dwight D. Eisenhower. He became his own presidential candidate in 1960. This campaign brought around the first televised debate in which he campaigned against John F. Kennedy. It was believed that this new media played a role in his loss to Kennedy for 35th presidency. Because remember, Kennedy dressed in a very different suit, and he played well to the black and white that was on the television. And if you ever look at the videos, he's wearing a gray suit, and it looks sweaty and uncomfortable. And Kennedy was wearing a black suit, so there was strong contrast.
Yeah, so it was more striking and kind of popped when you looked at it.
And this was the first time, though, in politics that the visual aspect, I think, really probably played a role in how people perceived things. Because think about, before that, it was written, but it was drawn pictures.
Right, or it was radio, and you're just imagining what the person looks like. So he ran again in 1968 against Lyndon B. Johnson, who became president after Kennedy's assassination. He won the campaign and became the 37th president of the United States. During this time, the big campaign topics were increased crime and the Vietnam War. So this is what everyone was campaigning on. So he won, and then Nixon went to work about doing presidential things, trying to bring down inflation and the Vietnam War during his first 4 years as president. But this brings us to 1972, his second president, or I guess his third, technically, presidential campaign.
but his
Right, yeah, 'cause
second
he lost the
after he
first
was
one, yeah.
elected. And this is really where the trouble began for Nixon.
Okay.
He was seeking re-election. However, the civil rights movement was causing the Republican Party to worry, as Southerners who typically voted Republican were moving more moderate in their leanings.
Yeah, because they
This
woke
is
up and said, oh, hey, wait a minute.
Maybe racism is terrible.
Yeah, maybe people are equal to one another.
Like, segregation shouldn't be a thing. Martin Luther King is not the same as Charlie Kirk, and perhaps this, like, we need to listen to this. So he was running at that time against California Democrat George McGovern, which I think is the best name for a politician. Yeah. So he ran a liberal grassroots campaign. Nixon often railed against McGovern, citing he stood for amnesty for draft dodgers, abortion, and acid.
Well, I mean, when you don't have much, when you have nothing to put forward yourself, you become an attacker. Instead of saying, I'm going to do this, you're saying the other guy's not going to do this.
If I have no skills to give you, I'm going to tell you why the other person is terrible and villainize them.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, Nixon won this election by a landslide on November 7th, 1972. At this point, Nixon had everything he ever dreamed of. He had attained the highest role in the U.S. government for a second term. The problem was, with Nixon's campaign, he'd been caught participating in illegal activities.
Oops.
Wah, wah.
Whoopsie doodles.
And so on the board, we can see Nixon.
With a frowny face next to him.
Yep. And I can't even see the name because I didn't, so I have to get up and look.
It's a man with a mustache that says the muscle underneath it.
That's Gordon Liddy.
Oh, yeah, G. Gordon Liddy. Okay.
And he is an important person. Hold on, I have to stop. So Gordon Liddy was a former FBI agent, and he was appointed to develop an intelligence plan for Nixon's re-election campaign. So during his second run, that guy with the Tom Selleck mustache,
But not nearly as cool as Tom Selleck.
not nearly as sexy as Tom Selleck.
There's no Hawaiian shirt on there.
He was in charge of creating a, like...
So he's like a smear campaign guy.
But so much worse and so much less so much more ineffective. So Liddy presented his plan to the Attorney General, John Mitchell, which is the one I call dirty over there, on February 4th, 1972. The plan included bugging specific targets. Later, under testimony, two people present during the meeting sanctioning this plan stated it was not approved, while one individual stated that it was approved by the Attorney General.
Okay. So we have mixed. And if someone's saying it was approved, it was probably, I'm going to call it extrajudicial.
But don't worry, they took care of this for us later. So by May 28th, 1972, Liddy had hired 4 Cuban nationals with connections to the CIA to break into the Democratic National Committee. I don't have the picture up there, but I can show you a picture of them, of the 4 people that he hired.
Interesting that it was Cuban nationals, especially because we're just, well, not exactly coming off directly, but I mean...
So this will be on the website, people,
Okay.
buzzedandbaffled.net. I will post this.
You know, we had the Bay of Pigs when Kennedy was president, and the whole, you know, who's going to bomb whom in Miami and Cuba. So I wonder if that was intentional or if it just happened to be the people they could find.
Sorry, guys, I'm reading where I am in the paper.
It's fine.
It's been a long day.
We had a long day.
So it was at this time that the first break-in occurred. So there was more than one break-in that happened. And bugs were planted.
Okay.
Also, anyone who hears a noise, it's 100% Lana outside. So, Rube, this is not your dog.
I'm going to let her in. And if she behaves, she can stay in. Like she did last time.
But I think your mother being here is what allowed her to behave.
No, that would have made her, like, crazier. Come on.
Lay down, girl.
Lay down. Go lay down. She's an asshole, so she's that. Yeah.
She's the worst dog. So on June 17th, 1972, the 4 Cuban nationals and James McCord, who was a former CIA agent, were arrested inside the Watergate Hotel in Washington, D.C. The FBI found 5 men were stealing information from the Democratic National Committee. Oddly enough, $2,300.
That's a really weird and specific amount.
40 rolls of film, but they were also carrying tear gas guns.
This is dumb.
And they were replacing listening devices because they were no longer working. During the break-in, these Cuban nationals were using transistor radios and walkie-talkies to communicate as they broke into file cabinets and stole address books, which were found in their possession at the time of the arrest, tying them to the crimes.
What you're saying is we're talking about the highest level of criminal here.
Like, they're really good at what they do. Immediately following the men's arrest, President Nixon attempted to use the CIA to impede the FBI investigation. So I forget. So the guy that's labeled as dirty
he was
the head of the CIA, who was like, nothing to see here, folks.
So, okay, so we have a president who is using his power to influence one department over another illegally.
To influence the outcomes of an election.
Yeah. And an investigation.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
You see what I'm laying down here? So he was trying to limit the scope of the investigation and prevent witnesses from being interviewed, delaying releases of important information to the investigation, and attempted to push the focus of the investigation away from the White House.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
How novel. It's almost like that never has happened since.
So the one labeled dirty, his name is Patrick Gray.
Okay.
He was the FBI director. He was appointed by Nixon. So it's like the guy who appointed him, he's willing to do whatever.
Shocker that someone who gives you a job, you might feel beholden to them.
He was accused of being too cooperative and providing FBI files to the White House counsel. He was, however, Gray was later forced to resign after it was discovered that he destroyed evidence related to the case.
This is so dumb. And I'm so sad that it's like, again, like,
it's repeating.
Yeah.
So during this time that the main character we all know about Watergate scandal came forward, which is
Deep Throat.
Deep Throat.
One of the best / worst names ever.
Like, that is, like, not what I would have called them.
No, yeah. That would have not been my first choice for the name of a
And so you can see him, that's his picture there, because he came forward years later to admit who he was. But a high-ranking official at the FBI began to leak information to reporters in an effort to keep the investigation alive.
Oh, and those are the people who are the real heroes.
Mm-hmm.
The people who are risking their livelihoods to have justice
Because they recognize that this is wrong and it shouldn't be happening.
Mm-hmm. And it's wrong. And if I publicly say it's wrong, I'm going to lose my job. But if I maybe drop, well, there wouldn't have been email at the time, but maybe drop a memo to a reporter or something accidentally falls out of my pocket.
Well, and the way they would do it is like Deep Throat would leave like an envelope in a park, and the reporters would go and pick it up.
Yep.
And there was information in it. So Deep Throat leaked information to Bob Woodward at the Washington Post.
Okay, yep.
And this was when the Washington Post was a little more reputable than it is now, because they just, on the Charlie Kirk, did
Jeff
a bunch
Bezos
of stuff.
owns it now.
Oh, well, that explains a lot.
Yeah, he bought it maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
So this is when they had integrity.
And really all of our newspapers had integrity.
Yeah.
At this point, everything is sold to the highest bidder.
Yeah. So the Washington Post covered the Watergate story for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
From 1972 to 1974. And through their reporting, several of Nixon's staff were implicated in the scandal. Several decades later, the identity of Deep Throat was finally revealed as Associate FBI Director Mark Felt, which he's up there. Mm-hmm. As a deputy director, he saw everything before it was given to Gray, who had the problematic habit of sharing it with the White House. So he was just like filtering it. Mm-hmm. It should be noted that Gray resigned from his position as the director of the FBI, and Felt was passed over from the promotion from deputy director to director. And Nixon chose to appoint William, and I'm going to mess this up, Ruckelhaus. So, like, he had suspicions that Felt was, like, doing something. Mm-hmm. So he did not let him be director.
He wasn't playing ball.
Yep. Higher-ups in the FBI suspected that Felt of being the leak, but they could not prove it. Later in life, Felt reported to others that he leaked the Watergate information because he felt Nixon was obstructing justice and engaging in legal activities, which he was.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
However, in true to form, Felt was not squeaky clean. He was convicted of violating people's civil rights in 1978 after he searched people's homes without warrants.
Okay, remember what I said about heroes? I somewhat take that back.
But eventually, every hero becomes a villain.
Yeah. So I'm going to, in my mind's eye, delineate what he did before and what he did later as two separate acts.
Yeah. But we're going to go back to 1971.
When you were 30, right?
This is before I became Nicole Eubinger, and I was still just like waiting to find my new form. So in 1971, this is where Nixon really fucked up. So he was doing great before this.
Well, yeah, he's got the FBI going against the CIA. I mean, he's creating enough chaos where he's just like, oh, yeah, you guys find it out. It has nothing to do with me.
But in 1971, a sound-activated taping system was installed in the Oval Office and other rooms of the White House. The system was turned off July 18th, 1973, after the public became aware of the taping system as part of the Watergate investigation. During the Watergate investigation, audio recordings of conversations between Nixon and his administration were released. And if you want to listen to these, I have the tapes linked on buzzedandbaffled.net.
You're probably going to horn me for this, but isn't there like a 6-minute or something gap? I know there's a gap in the tape. I just don't know how long it is. I completely deserve that.
Yep. The tapes held 3,700 hours of conversation. Only 200 hours were the focus on Watergate itself. While transcribing the tapes, Nixon's secretary states She made a mistake and answered a phone call, claims she accidentally hit the record button instead of the stop, resulting in 18 and a half minutes of the conversation between Nixon and his chief of staff being deleted.
So I have thoughts on that.
Nixon claimed ignorance to what was discussed during the 18 minutes. Some people have theorized that it was Nixon himself that deleted the tapes, citing he was notoriously bad at using technology, and that could be where the 18 minutes were missing.
Or have you considered
he intentionally deleted it?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way a specific set of extremely incriminating recordings,
because the recordings we do have aren't great.
Yeah. Where it just so happens that the smoking gun, so to speak, is contained in that exact spot where the recording was stopped.
Also, he knew that it was being recorded. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah. That's why it was deleted. He was just like, oh, I'll just delete it.
So Nixon initially refused to release the tapes. What do you think he cited where he was going to not release the tapes? It's a popular thing right now.
Presidential immunity?
Executive privilege.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
But yeah.
However, on October 19th, 1973, he proposed a compromise that would allow Democratic U.S. Senator John Stennis, who I don't know who he is in the grand scheme of things, to review the tapes for accuracy and allowing him to report his findings to the special prosecutor's office. We've heard the term special prosecutor thrown around quite a bit recently.
Yeah, in the last, I would say, 6 years or so. I mean, I've heard special prosecutor more than I care to say.
The special prosecutor refused this compromise, resulting in Nixon ordering the Attorney General to fire the special prosecutor.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, if you don't like what's going on, you just fire the person, right?
The Attorney General refused and resigned.
Well, good. Well, I mean, kind of good.
I mean, he had more...
He refused, but also he resigned, but he knew he was probably going to get fired anyways.
The next in line, the Deputy Attorney General also refused to fire the special prosecutor, and the Deputy Attorney refused to resign.
Okay, good. Okay, so we have someone who's like,
fuck you and the horse you're
I'm not doing that, and I'm also not resigning over it. That's someone with scruples.
Finally, the Solicitor General, who was acting as the head of the Justice Department, fired the special prosecutor. And Nixon himself appointed a new special prosecutor into his own investigation.
That's so bogus.
Is this ringing true for any of the bullshit we're seeing right now?
I feel like you're telling me a parallel universe of the last
6 years.
Yeah, 6 years, whatever it was.
On April 11th, 1974, the House Committee on Judiciary subpoenaed the tapes of 42 White House conversations. Nixon initially refused to release the tapes, citing executive privilege, instead providing 1,200 pages of edited transcripts.
Oh, yes, because we all know transcripts aren't, exact.
Edited. I mean, if your secretary can't not delete 18 minutes, she's going to be real great at, transcribing them.
Hit that backspace button.
The committee rejected the transcripts, stating that they did not comply with the subpoena, which they should.
Yeah, exactly. You can't say we need this exact conversation letter for letter and then say, well, we're not going to give it to you, but here's something that Joan from the typing pool put together.
Yeah. So they requested the transcripts on April 11th, 1974. So the battle over the tapes continued until July 24th, 1974. So 3-4 months later, when the Supreme Court ordered Nixon administration to release the tapes. I do not trust that our current Supreme Court would have the same wherewithal. The tapes were released on August 5th, 1974, and it was at this time that the tape labeled the Smoking Gun Tape documented the initial stages of the Watergate cover-up, where Nixon and his chief of staff were planning how to block the FBI investigation, utilizing the CIA, with claims that national security was involved.
Well, yeah, because if it's national security, you have all these extra things that you can invoke.
It's almost like a playbook we've heard before.
It's almost like someone's not very original.
Mm-hmm. Once transcripts for this tape were released, and all of Nixon's political support vanished, which is not what we're seeing right now.
Unfortunately.
And both Democrat and Republicans they all supported his impeachment. So on August 8th, 1974, Nixon was the first president in U.S. history to resign his office. He did remain in legal battles over control of the White House tapes until his death in 1994.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
But if anyone's interested in listening to the Smoking Gun tape, it's on buzzedandbaffled.net, and it is pulled from the Nixon Presidential Library. That's kind of where they house it. So I just linked it from there.
God damn it, Lana.
Sorry, Lana's being a jerk, and Kyla's trying to control her. You're as good at controlling Lana as you're good at controlling me.
I tried really hard to do that in an unobtrusive way, and the door didn't latch. Also, I feel like if you resigned the presidency because you're a piece of shit, you should not get a presidential library.
No, you definitely should not. So, none of this is great, but it does teach us something about how the government can be used for criminal enterprises.
Oh, yes.
I feel like maybe you get where I'm going with this.
I might be seeing the writing on the wall.
Mm-hmm. I also believe if we do not know history, we are doomed to repeat it. And so how does this story correlate with what we are now seeing in the political world? What are your thoughts on the similarities between Nixon's behavior and the current Republican Party?
I feel like you're trying to get me canceled.
Only Kurt will cancel us, Kyla.
Yeah, fuck Kurt, fucking dork.
Kurt can get a mental health assessment, which is what he needs.
Shit.
He's terrible.
So, what I am seeing is not exactly so much today, but thinking back to the Russian collusion case, or I mean, really even today, where I'm going to appoint somebody to work for me, and if they don't toe the line, they're going to get fired. Mm-hmm. If they don't do what I want them to do, they're going to get fired. And that kind of rings me...
So we're not worried about guidelines or ethics.
No.
It's about toeing the line.
Ethics is so far gone out the window in this administration. I'm thinking of the poor lady who was in charge of the Bureau of Labor and Statistics.
And he's like, I don't like the numbers you gave. She's like, the numbers are the numbers. I can't, they are what they are.
Where he did not like the unemployment level, and she's just like, hey man, this is just math. This is not, there's no subjectivity to this.
I have no control over
this. This is one number divided by another number, and he did not like that, so she got fired.
And so, granted, and I will say, this is my opinion, but Trump is taking a page of Nixon playbook and firing government watchdogs, closing entire agencies, and putting his own people in positions of power. Mm-hmm. Nixon weaponized the FBI and the CIA to go after his enemies. They resisted investigations from Congress and obstructed investigations into his alleged wrongdoing. Now we see Trump firing more than a dozen inspector generals, which he does not have the power to do because they are independent from the government, and they oversee both Republican and Democrats to prevent fraud, waste, and abuse, as well as keeping Congress informed of significant issues.
Yeah, but if they're not saying what aligns with what he wants to portray, then, well, they're the enemy. Instead of changing what you're doing, you just get rid of the people who are speaking against you.
And unlike what Kurt told me, it's not AI.
You're not slandering people.
I am not slandering people.
Despite providing them thrice with proof.
More than thrice. But so this happened, but there was changes in what presidential power looked like after Watergate. So after Watergate, there was curbs to presidential power with greater oversight. There were also changes to campaign finance reform, which aims to reduce the influence of money in politics. And after Watergate, the Republican Party did not continue to support Nixon, which is what led to his resignation, knowing he would be impeached. Now the Republican Party stands behind Trump as he challenged the governmental structures that were put into place to protect the American people from the abuses of power, even though the public opinion appears to support the limit on presidential power.
Yeah, and I think even the most, when I'm saying this, I'm not talking about Trumpers or MAGA supporters, but people who identify as conservatives outside of that definition, who, constitutional conservatives, even they are saying, hey, no.
So when we look at actual well-run surveys, the Public Policy Center shows that a national survey of U.S. adults, so this is all of them. It's not like a cluster sample of just MAGA, just Democrat. It's an entire demographic. 75% of people support a system of checks and balances.
Imagine that. It's almost like it's what our entire government was based upon.
Mm-hmm. After Nixon, laws were put into place to limit presidential authority. However, Trump is now pushing the limit to have unilateral power.
Mm-hmm. We all see that, and I don't think there's any people who are Trump fans who listen to the podcast, and if there are, they're probably not going to listen anymore. I don't care. Goodbye.
You're allowed to not like me because of this.
But also, I just want you to take a step back and look at, from the outside, what you are supporting. Just try to be objective about this.
Use some critical thinking.
Exactly. Think about the Constitution. Think about what you learned in 3rd grade civics.
Right now, current news sources and legal experts are raising the alarm that the Supreme Court ruling on presidential immunity could be very problematic, as it states that nothing the president does in office could be viewed as a criminal act.
And that's so ridiculous.
Imagine if this had happened during Nixon's era.
He wouldn't have had to resign.
No.
Everything he did would have been okay.
We would have had a very different outcome.
Mm-hmm. That would have changed the course of history forever. Mm-hmm. He would have been oh, yeah, I stole this and busted into that, and go fuck yourself, because that's what I did, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. I have to look the name up because I don't want to say it wrong, so hold on.
What's the chances that you say it wrong anyways?
I'm looking it up.
I can fill the space. Pink Pony Club.
Clarence Thomas.
Oh. I thought you were going to say some...
No, I was I want to make sure. I was going to say a different name.
Very difficult to pronounce name.
I was I could picture him, but I was I'm not going to remember the name.
Fuck Clarence Thomas.
And the horse he rode it on.
He's a little bitch.
But there's a lot of problems with what the Supreme Court is doing, because you're not beholden to the person that appoints you.
Right, and the Constitution is nonpartisan. Mm-hmm. And you take an oath to uphold that. Even in our lowest offices in the land, township clerks. Mm-hmm. I mean, I, as an elected school board trustee had to take an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States. Like, think about that. I'm just there to be like, they can have their football game on this day.
Yeah.
But I had to do that. And, I mean, I took it seriously. It never came up where we had, like, a constitutional crisis at the school board level. But
You were never like, oh my God, someone broke in and like stole the playbook and now we have to decide what we do about this.
there was no crowbar filing cabinets.
Oh, so on the board here, you have to get a little closer, but I do have the pictures of them investigating. And like the 100% had like hand recorders, and that was the bugs they put into the room. Like, so what? They just went for like 40 minutes, and then you had to like break in again and do it. Like, I don't understand what's happening.
I'll try to find it. I think it's probably on an external drive somewhere. But when I went to Washington, D.C. in 2016.
Is this when you went and you look like an FBI
That's
agent,
exactly
like
when it
protecting
was, yeah.
David for the funeral?
That's exactly the same time. We went to the Smithsonian American History Museum, and they had the crowbarred. They had the filing cabinet there.
I need you to send me that picture because I'm going to put it in the ad for this because that's an amazing
You're talking
picture.
about
when you're
the
there with
bodyguard
blazer.
picture. Yeah, you don't care about the actual photo from something taken from the Watergate.
Oh, no, I already have, but I'm not putting that in the ad because they have to go to the website to see this, Kyla.
Yes, I will send you that. I'll send that over post haste.
She was protecting her husband because he was very important.
He was barely my boyfriend at the time.
But you went to his grandmother's funeral.
It was his grandpa's funeral. We'd been dating for like 6 months by then. And I don't think I was going to be invited, but I was like, be really cool to see that. Because I was funeral director at the time, and he was getting a full military burial at Arlington. I'm like, this is a chance that I am never going to get to take again. So I was like, boy.
I forget, though, that she's a burial nerd because I was like, boring. Okay. I don't want to go to that.
I just want to talk about the term burial nerd for a second. I feel like you're glossing over and dismissing the fact that I'm literally a licensed funeral director, and
she's a mortician.
And I went to college and have a degree in that. This isn't just like some weird hobby I have.
She's a burial nerd. I'm going to put that in a shirt. That's going next to Kyla Good News. Now it's going to be burial nerd.
You got it wrong again.
Did I?
Yeah.
Good news, Kyla.
Nope.
Oh, what is it?
Hey, Kyla. Good news.
That's what I wrote the first time, but you told me it's wrong.
No, that's not what you wrote the first time. I will go pull that shirt out of my clothes pile.
We're going to debate this later, guys.
You're a ding-dong.
So pretty soon, there's going to be merch available if I can figure out how to set up for drop ship.
If Nicole can figure out how to speak English, we might have merch available.
So, but that is the story of Watergate and why Trump is making it worse.
A bunch of idiots who led to a bunch more idiots doing the same stupid shit.
My story is still terrible, but nobody died this time.
I know, I think that's only the second time you've done a story that nobody died.
But don't worry, my next one is going to be a real banger.
Oh yeah, it's just going to be like mass death or something. It's going to be the worst thing you've ever heard.
It's like homesteaders and serial killers.
Well, that tracks. That tracks, okay.
But what's your topic for the next episode?
Bitch, I don't know. Oh yeah, yes I do.
Okay.
So you're hearing this live on September 13th is today. So I actually know that the next episode is going to be the episode where Jail Dale is a special guest.
Oh, she's coming back?
No.
Oh, we already sorry.
Goddamn ding dong.
Sorry, we already recorded it. I forgot.
That's how I knew what was coming, because we already recorded it.
It's a real banger. I was not expecting it to be the way it is.
We will be out of town-ish, side-by-siding next weekend, so we pre-recorded the September 20th episode. My mom stopped in for a visit, and I think everyone's going to get maybe just as baffled as you were. Not everyone, but
I wasn't,
some people
because I had a little bit of a hint because David ruined it. But I was like, I was 100% sure maybe she like went on a date with him. But I know that doesn't make any sense.
When you said that, I was like, do you know who we're... Do you know who I'm talking about here?
But that doesn't mean your mom still wouldn't go on a date with him.
And I don't want to give anything away. Well, I mean, I guess I could say it's the Dahmer episode, and I have a lengthy preface that I say about why I'm doing it, and it's not for the gruesome factor at all. Yeah. There's a personal connection, so everyone should, tune in like you're putting this on your radio dial. Everyone should listen to next week's episode as well. There's a little bit of a twist. I'm going to call it a little twist. I think it's more than that. For those who don't know, but
so stick in for Dahmer, and then we're gonna do my homesteader episode.
Yeah, and then I don't know. I'll do something after that. I haven't decided yet.
Because my one after that's gonna be where we do our senior pictures.
Finally, Nicole's like 6 months ago. She's like, "Send me your senior picture." And I'm like, it's at my dad's house, but I guess I can be like, take a picture when I'm there.
It's going to be glorious, guys. I can't wait for you to see the photos I have.
Anyways.
But, to the next pour and the next plot twist.
The dullest clink ever, because I still have this tumbler in my hand.
I used the right glass.